All right, we're back here on the Chad Hasty Show. Busy morning news-wise. Just heard that both Commissioner Corley and Commissioner Seay have effectively boycotted the county commissioners' budget meeting this morning, and we're able to track down Commissioner Seay and Corley. We've got them on the phone. Good morning, fellas. How are you? Listen, I'll get right to it because we've only got about we've got a few minutes anyway. We don't have to rush. But one of you fellas set it up for me. What was going to happen today, and why have you decided to take the action you did?
Well, we've been fighting for the effective rate through the whole budget session, and nobody's been willing to go along with it until the absolute last minute on Friday. So, we've been lied to and, deceived through this whole process. So we're going to guarantee you that the Lubbock County taxpayer is not going to have their taxes raised this year. And the way to do that is by not showing up. You have to have 4 members of the court present in order to pass a forum. So if we don't go to court and you have to do it on a regular scheduled meeting, then the tax rate automatically reverts back to the effective rate or last year's rate, whichever is lower. So the effective rate is lower, so that's what you're going to get.
And we've been fighting about this weeks and weeks and weeks. And it would come back one rate as the current, then it'd come back the effective, it'd go current, it'd be effective. We'd put in for cuts, and I know personally that the auditor and Bill, when Jason was out of the country, I brought him over $500,000 worth of cuts in one budget and asked if he'd look at that, and it was the courts. And they just marked through it and said it can be done. So I went and talked to Dean Stanzioni, who is the court administrator, and he had no problem with it. So that's the kind of stuff we've been fighting with, and we just didn't trust that they were going to do the right thing. Even though they had posted on Friday that, we can do the effective rate, there was still talk up into then, well, maybe we need to go a little bit above the effective rate, but not quite to the current rate. So we didn't trust that from the dais that they were going to change things, because that's happened to me and Jason before. And this time we're not going to let it happen.
It sounds to me like you all had plenty of time to work this out with your fellow commissioners and the judge. What's the biggest sticking point with the rest of the court? What is the sticking point with Gilbert Flores, and what is the sticking point with Bill McKay, and what is the sticking point with the judge? Are they all the same mindset on this? I mean, who isn't cooperating on this? All 3 of them?
Well, pretty much all 3 of them. All of a sudden, at the last minute on Friday, okay, we can do the effective rate. Like, wait a minute, you guys have argued against this the entire time. We've heard excuses like, we can't fund the sheriff's office if we don't raise taxes. And I called Bill out on it in one of the work sessions, and they're on the county website where you can watch it. If public safety is so important, then we approve that first, and then we can argue about everything else. But I don't think we're going to go back to our voters saying, we're raising your taxes because we really need to hire a buyer for the purchasing department. Nobody in their right mind is going to buy that. It's always been a political ruse. It's been used for years. Public safety is important. We have to raise your taxes. Well, you know what? We're tired of that. People know what the effective rate is now. You can't get away with it anymore. So we're just going to see to it that that's not going to be the case in Lubbock County. Talking about the mechanics of the thing, we just found the video, the Facebook video on this Lubbock Taxpayers Coalition Facebook page, which I'd heard of this group. I don't know much about them, but obviously a grassroots deal that don't like taxes, and who does, of course. But now the video, from what I understand, it looks like it was professionally produced, so it would have had to give you guys a little bit of time to do that, and I'm not going to ask you exactly when you did it, but it sounds to me like Friday was you passed the fail-safe point, and that was going to be it. There weren't going to be any negotiations over the weekend and so forth, so on. And today, the rubber met the road. So now after today, if you guys don't go back in there, you say it goes to the effective rate or it goes to last year's budget. Which is it? Is it one or the other? Or?
It will go to the effective rate or the lesser of the effective rate. So if we actually were going to adopt something less than the effective, it would fall to that. But since we haven't agreed on that, it would go to the effective rate, and there's nothing that can be done about it because it takes 4 members present to even have the vote.
Go ahead.
The proposed rate was the flat rate from last year, which will be the same tax rate as last year. The effective rate is actually lower, so it will revert to the lowest of the two. So, the Lubbock County taxpayer will not be getting a tax increase this year.
I was going to say, not to sound too melodramatic, but does the Judge Parrish have any authority to get you guys to come back in there, or I mean, is that it? You can just say, "See you later."
We can be fined $25 for being in contempt of court. It's well worth $25 to keep from raising your taxes.
I think you might find some taxpayers who'd give you the money, Commissioner. I don't think that'd be a stretch. No, he's not going to send the sheriff after you, is he? I mean, he's not going to have you guys hauled back in there and make you do something you don't want to do. I mean, that's not possible, is it?
If I've got to get jail to keep your taxes lower, I think Chad's with me on this.
We'll go to jail to keep your taxes lower.
Well, that's very interesting. I have to say I've been around politics my entire career, and I've never heard a politician say that they'd go to jail to protect the taxpayer. I think that's pretty remarkable. But you guys, I mean, you ran on that kind of a platform, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. But if it comes to bologna sandwiches tonight for dinner, we'll know where to find you. Did anybody around the community, have you discussed this with city council people, other elected officials? I mean, who else have you expressed? I mean, did you try to work some angles with these other commissioners?
We had the budget sessions. We had them publicly, and just everybody the opportunity to to come in and express what they feel needs to be the best thing, especially for their precinct. In the past, it's always been done behind closed doors in the budget committee with two commissioners present and the auditor. Well, that's not transparent. I don't care what Bill says. That you've got to have these things out in the public where everybody can see it, hear it, and understand the reasoning why. Why were we doing this? What are the arguments for and against spending money where we spend it?
Well, listen, we got to hit the break. It's a hard break. We'll come back. Hang on the phone, commissioners, and we've got another. No, we're going over.
Yeah, this is
it.
The show.
Okay, fellas, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you doing that. And again, visit the Lubbock Taxpayers Coalition Facebook page for the video. I'm going to go on after this and take a look at it. You heard the audio. Corley and Seay have effectively boycotted this morning's budget meeting because, as they say, they're sticking up for the taxpayer.